I need you to listen closely. Do you really think you are seeing this by coincidence? No, my friend. This video was delivered to you for a reason by means you simply cannot comprehend. The universe is magic, and today it's pointing at you. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. This sort of magic was written in history with your very name on it. So are you feeling it? Not the kind of pressure that comes from deadlines or expectations. Not the weight of what you've been carrying or the demands from your day. This is different. It's something underneath, something you can't see but feel deep in your bones. It's not a random discomfort or a fleeting stress. It's a pressure that won't lift, no matter how much sleep you get, no matter how much you try to shake it off. It's a pressing weight from within, as if something inside of you is trying to break through something you've been holding back without even realizing it. You've probably tried to ignore it. Perhaps you've told yourself it's just anxiety or burnout. But deep down, you know it's not that. This is not the usual restlessness. This is something more profound. Today, the universe is demanding something from you. And this pressure you're feeling, it's not working against you. It's working on you. This isn't the universe punishing you. No, it's the universe setting you free. You've heard it before. Diamonds are formed under pressure. But what they don't tell you is that the pressure doesn't create the diamond. It reveals it. The carbon was always there. Pluto is just applying the right conditions for what was hidden inside you to no longer stay hidden. And here's the thing most people won't understand. Today, you are being given a chance to step into your own power. While others will spend the day in conflict fighting with partners, co-workers, or even themselves, you, right now, are being asked to see through the veil, to understand that every challenge today is not a setback. It's an invitation to step into your authentic power. Comment reborn below if you're ready to understand what this pressure is actually building. Subscribe, because what follows is going to permanently change how you respond to the hardest days. No, let's break this down. Because what you're feeling today isn't random. It's not some fleeting energy or a bad mood. This is Sun square Pluto, one of the most potent transformative aspects in the entire astrological year. And it's exact today. So, what does that mean for you? At 17 degrees Aries, the sun is radiating the energy of self-assertion, identity, and the ego, the part of you that says, "This is who I am." In Aries, the sun is at its boldest, its most determined, its most self-reliant. It's the energy that pushes you to stand tall and go after what you want, regardless of what others think. But today, that energy is meeting Pluto, the planet of deep, transformational power sitting at 5 degrees Aquarius. Pluto is the planet that governs the unconscious, the shadow, the places we'd rather not look. It digs deep into the corners of our psyche and demands that we confront what we've been hiding. This isn't just any transit. When the sun squares Pluto, it's like the universe is placing your ego, your conscious identity, directly in the path of your deepest transformations. It's as though the universe locked the door between your conscious self and your shadow self, and now it's forcing you to face what's been hidden in the dark. This is not a transit for the faint of heart. Liz Green, in Pluto, The Evolutionary Journey of the Soul, describes this as a crisis point of identity. When the Sun and Pluto come into contact like this, it's not just about who you are anymore. It's about who you're meant to become. Are you going to expand, integrate these deep hidden truths and rise up stronger? Or are you going to collapse under the pressure? But there's something important I want you to remember. This pressure is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal you. This is the pressure of transformation, of rebirth. What you are confronting right now is exactly what you need to break through to the next level of your life. Pluto in Aquarius is particularly significant right now because it's moving through the collective dimensions of power. While the Sun in Aries is focused on individual self-expression, Pluto in Aquarius is focused on the greater collective systems of power, the structures, hierarchies, and group dynamics that shape our world. Today, this square asks, Who are you, not just as an individual, but within the larger context of the changing world? With Pluto in Aquarius, we are seeing the collapse of old power structures, those that no longer serve evolution. Today's transit is challenging you to consider what part of your identity is still tied to outdated ways of thinking and being. What beliefs, values, or systems are you still unconsciously holding onto just because you've been taught to do so? This is the universe's invitation. Step out of the old patterns and embrace the new power structures emerging. The pressure you're feeling today is breaking down those old ways of thinking. Whether you recognize it yet or not, with the moon entering Capricorn today, the emotional atmosphere becomes more grounded and goal-oriented. Capricorn doesn't wallow in emotion, it takes those feelings and turns them into building blocks for something more solid. Pluto clears the ground. Capricorn immediately begins to ask, what will we build on this cleared site? And then Mercury at 27 degrees Aries adds another layer. Mercury in the final degrees of Aries sharpens your mind, making it clear, decisive, and urgent. Today is not a day for indecision. Mercury wants you to name exactly what's changing. It's clarity. It's knowing exactly where the shift is happening and being ready to take action. This is a full spectrum identity reconstruction happening on every level of your being. Pluto exposes, Sun confronts, Moon builds, Mercury names today. Everything is aligning to break you open and help you rebuild something that's far more authentic. What you're experiencing today is not random. It is the ancient transformative process that the greatest minds throughout history have written about and explored. Ego, death, that psychological collapse you feel under the weight of today's transit is not an end. It is a rebirth, a reorganization of the self at its deepest level. Carl Jung described the ego as the center of your conscious identity. It's the organizing principle that makes sense of the world, that tells you who you are, what you do, and how you navigate life. But he also made a crucial distinction. The ego is not the whole of you. It's just one part of a larger, more complex self. Jung's idea of individuation is the process by which the ego, over time, relinquishes its control and integrates the deeper, unconscious parts of the self, the ones you've denied, repressed, or ignored. He believed that this process of repeated ego deaths and rebirths was the privilege of a lifetime, but it comes at a cost. The cost is the discomfort you're feeling right now. Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now offers a simpler but equally profound understanding. He describes the ego as a false self, created by unconscious identification with the mind, the stories it tells, and the roles it plays. True awakening happens when the ego begins to dissolve under pressure, revealing what lies beneath. A more authentic, more powerful self. As Tolle writes, you cannot wake up while you are still asleep inside your own story about yourself. What you're going through today isn't just a breakdown. It's the destruction of a false story that's been holding you back from the truth of who you really are. This alchemical process, known as nigredo in the tradition of alchemy, refers to the blackening, the stage of dissolution and decay that precedes the appearance of gold. Alchemists understood that transformation isn't always pretty. It's messy, it's painful, and they can feel like you're losing everything. But the darkness is not the destination. It is the stage that must come before the gold. Friedrich Nietzsche understood this process when he wrote, "One must have chaos within oneself to give birth to a dancing star." The chaos of Sun square Pluto is not pointless disorder. It is the productive chaos that precedes the emergence of something far more powerful than the comfort of your previous self could allow. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks of tapa, the transformative heat or pressure that comes before true evolution. Krishna teaches Arjuna that genuine transformation requires the willingness to endure pressure consciously without retreating or resisting. You are not being broken today, you are being forged. Every tradition that has ever taken transformation seriously has mapped this very experience, the pressure, the confrontation, the death of the false self, and the emergence of the real one. Today, you're not having a difficult day. You're undergoing an initiation. You are not being destroyed. You are being reborn. The pressure you're feeling right now is shaping you, refining you, and helping you become the version of yourself that has always been waiting to emerge. You may have already noticed the signs. The universe has a way of signaling when transformation is imminent. The pressure you're feeling today is not just a random event, it's part of a larger process. If you're paying attention, you're likely experiencing some of the classic symptoms of ego death that have been documented for centuries. These are not just signs of discomfort. They are signs that you are shedding the old version of yourself to make room for the new. 1. A confrontation you didn't expect. Perhaps it came out of nowhere. A disproportionately charged interaction with a boss, a partner, or even within yourself. It felt overwhelming for what seemed like a small issue. The truth is, this confrontation is not random. Sun square Pluto uses these moments of tension to deliver large realizations about yourself, your life, and the power dynamics at play. This is your ego being asked to face something it's been avoiding. 2. A sudden intolerance for old dynamics. You may have felt a visceral reaction, a collapse of tolerance for something that's been draining you for a long time. It could be a relationship where you've been making yourself smaller, or a situation where you've been compromising your true self. What's happening is Pluto is removing the unconscious agreement that allowed you to stay in this dynamic. That collapse is not a breakdown, it's liberation. 3. An intense physical pressure. If you've been feeling heat, tension, or restlessness in your body today, it's not just stress. Pluto's transformative energy often creates somatic responses. Your body is trying to process the deep changes happening internally. This is not anxiety, it's your body trying to make way for the new you that's emerging. Listen to what your body is telling you. 4. Old beliefs breaking down. You may notice that the old versions of yourself, your self-definitions, beliefs about what you're capable of, what you deserve, or what you're allowed to want are fragile today. This is not weakness. Pluto is dissolving the energy that once upheld these beliefs, showing you that they were built on shaky foundations. The fragility you feel is a sign that you are ready to let go of what no longer serves you. 5. Dreams of power struggles. Pluto's energy often shows up in dreams where power dynamics play out, being chased, confronting authority figures, finding hidden rooms, or experiencing death and rebirth. These Pluto dreams are your subconscious processing the transformation happening on a deeper level. Pay attention to these dreams. They are showing you what your ego has been holding on to and what it's ready to release. 6. Sudden clarity about power dynamics. Have you had moments of clarity about the true power dynamics in your life? You may be noticing which people hold genuine power and which ones have been pretending to. The same goes for your own life. You might be recognizing where you've been operating from a place of performative power rather than your authentic self. This realization is key to your transformation. It's about shifting from people-pleasing to self-empowerment. 7. Unexplained grief. If you've been feeling a deep sense of grief today, but with no clear object of mourning, know that this is a normal part of the process. Your ego is sensing its own dissolution, and that can bring up a surprising amount of sorrow, even if you don't fully understand why. Let it grieve. This grief is the letting go of an old identity that no longer fits who you are becoming. What follows the grief is the birth of the real you. 8. Intense internal reflection. Finally, today you might feel a clarity rising within you, an internal shift where everything begins to make sense in a way it didn't before. Sun square Pluto often brings moments of self-realization that force you to confront who you really are. Beyond the masks, beyond the stories, beyond the labels, this is your authentic self rising to the surface. It may feel disorienting, but it's also empowering. These signs are not coincidences. They are signals that ego death is already happening within you. The pressure you feel today is breaking down the barriers that have kept you from seeing your true power. Trust this process. You are not falling apart. You are emerging. Now here is where this goes deeper than most people are willing to look. Because Sun square Pluto does not just create pressure, it reveals what that pressure is targeting. And what it is targeting is power. Not the surface level version, not the obvious hierarchies, but the invisible agreements you have been living inside of. Pluto in Aquarius is not random. It is moving through the part of the sky that governs collective systems, networks, social hierarchies, group identity, shared belief structures. And as Richard Tarnas documents in Cosmos and Psyche, Pluto moving through Aquarius has historically coincided with the dismantling of existing power structures and the emergence of entirely new ones. But here is the part most people miss. Those structures do not exist without participation. They are not held in place by force alone. They are held in place by agreement, often unconscious, often invisible, but still agreement. And this is where Sun in Aries comes in, because Aries does not ask, "What is the system?" Aries asks, "Where am I in it?" So today is not just exposing power structures around you, it is exposing the ones you have been sustaining. Hannah Arendt, in The Origins of Totalitarianism, wrote something that most people overlook. That illegitimate power does not survive primarily through violence. It survives through compliance, through the quiet, repeated, normalized decision to go along with something you know is not aligned. And the moment that compliance is withdrawn, the structure begins to collapse. That is what is happening today, not abstractly, personally. Look at your work environment. The Capricorn moon entering today brings this directly into focus. Authority figures, titles, positions of control. But ask yourself honestly, where is that authority actually coming from? Is it coming from competence? Or is it coming from fear, expectation, and your willingness to comply? Because if someone has been holding power over you through pressure, guilt, or unspoken consequences, today you can see it clearly. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Now look at your relationships, not what they appear to be on the surface, but the power dynamics underneath them. Who has been holding the emotional leverage? Who has been needing more? Who has been performing instead of being? Because Pluto does not create these imbalances. It illuminates them, and illumination is irreversible. Once the light hits it, the illusion cannot survive. But the most important structure, the one this entire transit is really about, is not external at all. It is internal. James Hollis, in Why Good People Do Bad Things, describes one of the most dangerous psychological agreements a person can make: the unconscious decision to remain smaller than they are capable of being in order to avoid a responsibility that real power requires. Read that again. Because this is the core of what Pluto is dismantling. Not just where others have had power over you, but where you have given it to them in exchange for comfort, safety, or avoidance. And today, that agreement is being revoked, not gently, not gradually, but decisively. This is why it feels like a power struggle, because it is won, but not in the way you were taught to think about it. This is not you versus another person. This is not you versus the world. This is you versus the version of you that was built to survive in a structure you have already outgrown. And the version of you that is emerging does not negotiate with that structure, does not shrink inside it, does not need permission from it. That is what Pluto is building. And that is what the pressure is for. Aries. The sun is in your sign, and Pluto is squaring it directly. This is no small thing. The intensity of this transit lands squarely in your identity sector, shaking the very foundations of how you see yourself. The old version of your power, the one that was built on asserting your will, on pushing forward at all costs, on proving yourself, is being demolished today. But this destruction is not failure, it is liberation. What is emerging is the power that doesn't need to shout or force its way. The new Aries power is quiet, it is grounded, and it no longer needs to compensate for anything. Today's confrontation, whether external or internal, is the exact friction required to separate your old performative strength from the genuine strength that has always been within you. Let this transformation do its work. The true you is ready to emerge, unstoppable in a way that is deeper than what you've known before. Capricorn, as the moon enters your sign, adding its sober, determined energy to the mix, you feel the weight of this transit more than most. The power dynamics in your life are being exposed, specifically in your ambitions and career. There has been a version of success you've been chasing that was designed to impress others, perhaps even to earn validation. But today, you are being asked to question the foundation upon which that success has been built. Pluto in Aquarius is helping you see where you've been climbing a false mountain, a structure built on the opinions of others rather than what truly fulfills you. The moon in Capricorn gives you the clarity to face the truth without flinching. What you are building today, whether it's a career, a relationship, or a new self-definition, must come from authentic ambition, not the need for approval. You are rebuilding from the ground up, and this time, it will endure because it is built on a foundation of your own truth. Scorpio Pluto is your ruling planet, and every time Sun squares Pluto, it hits you with particular intensity. This is the moment where the shadow of power is brought to the surface, forcing you to confront how you've been using control, emotional intensity, or strategic withholding to mask vulnerability. Today, Pluto is dismantling the need to manage everything, to control the narrative, and to stay in charge of your own emotions. The authentic Scorpio power that is emerging is the ability to remain present, not needing to manage outcomes or control everything around you. This power comes from vulnerability, from the courage to be real without manipulating or holding back. Pluto is building toward a version of Scorpio that is freer, more integrated, and more powerful than ever before. Let it happen. You are ready for it. Aquarius, as Pluto continues its journey through your sign. Today's Sun square Pluto directly activates your identity sector with full force. The power structure that is being dismantled in your life is the detachment, the intellectual distance you've created between yourself and the messier, more emotional work of real engagement. Pluto in Aquarius has been breaking down your comfort zone, the one where you could see everything objectively, detached and above it all. But today is asking you to move from theory to practice, from distance to involvement. Are you really living your vision for collective transformation, or have you been observing it from afar? Today the distance collapses. True power for Aquarius comes not from detachment, but from being fully present, fully engaged in the mess and beauty of human experience. Let go of the detachment today and step into the life you've been theorizing about. Leo, today's Sun square Pluto lands in your identity and recognition sector. This activation feels like it exposes and clarifies your relationship with validation, particularly the way you've relied on external approval to define your worth. What Pluto is dismantling is the version of you that needs others to confirm your value, your creativity, your place in the world. But here's the truth. The audience is no longer relevant. Pluto is taking away the need for recognition, for applause, for validation from others. The true Leo power that is emerging is the one that shines, regardless of an audience. It does not need to be seen to know it is valuable. You are discovering a version of yourself that is whole, strong, and unapologetically powerful without needing to be reflected in others. This is your authentic authority. Let it shine regardless of who's watching. This is the moment to act. Sun square Pluto is not here just to bring intensity. It is here to give you the opportunity to rise above the old self and step into something more powerful. You've felt the pressure. Now, it's time to make moves that are aligned with the changes Pluto is creating within you. These aren't passive steps, they are decisions. Declarations. The beginning of your rebirth. The first move. The power ought to identify one area in your life, professional, relational, or internal, where you've been operating from performed power rather than authentic power. Where have you been projecting authority you didn't feel? Where have you been diminishing yourself to accommodate power that doesn't deserve your compliance? Don't soften this language. Pluto cannot transform what you refuse to name. Write one sentence about it. Name it for what it is. This is the beginning of reconstruction. Pluto can't shift what's hidden. And today, you're bringing the truth into the light. Recognize it. Own it. The second move, The confrontation you've been postponing, Sun square Pluto, doesn't just activate pressure, it activates confrontation. Today is not the day to avoid the hard conversation, to procrastinate on the difficult boundary, or to allow the situation to fester. The pressure you've been feeling is forcing you to face it. This confrontation doesn't have to be dramatic or emotional. Pluto wants clarity, and with the moon in Capricorn, you have the structure to make it happen. Identify the conversation or boundary you've been avoiding. You know what it is. You've been carrying it for weeks, maybe months. Today is the day to engage with it, not out of emotion, but out of clarity. What are you avoiding? Today, Pluto demands that you step up and confront it head on. The third move, the identity claim. This is the most important move, because it's not just about changing your life. It's about changing who you are. Write one sentence that begins, "The version of me that no longer exists after today is." This is your conscious surrender, your intentional release of the false self that has been holding you back. Pluto does not need to take what you're ready to let go of. In fact, the conscious release always feels less costly than the forced removal. By naming what you're letting go of, you are claiming the space for who you're meant to become. This is your memento mori, your moment of death and rebirth. Marcus Aurelius used this Stoic practice to remind himself that every moment of life is a chance to align with what truly matters. You are doing the same today. You are consciously letting go of what no longer serves you, and in its place will come the true, empowered version of yourself. The moves are simple, but they are not easy. They demand that you step into your own power. This is not about passing through the pressure without change. This is about embracing it, understanding it, and using it to fuel your transformation. Now understand this. Today was never only about destruction, because the universe does not remove something without simultaneously preparing what replaces it. The moon in Capricorn is the reason. Capricorn does not process transformation through emotion. It does not sit in it. It does not analyze it. It does not dramatize it. It builds. So the moment Pluto clears the false structure, the moment the pressure breaks, the moment the illusion collapses, Capricorn steps in and asks one question: what can be built here that will actually last? This is the hidden advantage of today. Most people will experience the demolition and stop there. They will feel the loss. They will feel the confrontation. They will feel the pressure lifting, but they will not realize they've just been handed a cleared foundation. You have. And not just the foundation, the blueprint, because now you can see clearly what was real, what was not, what was sustainable, what was never going to hold. That clarity is not emotional, it is structural. This is why today is powerful for decisions that require honesty over comfort. Professional moves you have been delaying because they would disrupt what already exists. Financial structures you have been maintaining even though they do not reflect your real direction. Long-term plans you have been afraid to commit to because they would require becoming someone new. Capricorn does not hesitate here, because Capricorn understands something most people avoid. If it is not built on truth, it will collapse anyway. Liz Green, in the Astrology of Saturn, describes Saturn, Capricorn's ruling planet, as the force that ensures what is real endures and what is false eventually breaks. So understand what just happened today. Pluto collapsed what Saturn was going to collapse anyway. The only difference is, today, you are aware of it. And awareness changes everything, because now you are not rebuilding blindly. You are building with precision. No illusion, no compensation, no borrowed structure. Just what is true. This is the moment after the pressure. Not empty, not lost, clear. And from clarity, everything that follows becomes stronger. April 7th was never a difficult day. It was a precise instrument constructed to remove exactly what was preventing you from accessing exactly what you are capable of. Everything that felt like confrontation was a delivery. Everything that felt like loss was a clearing. Everything that felt like pressure was formation. The version of you that emerges from Sun square Pluto is not the one who avoided this. It is the one who understood what this was building. You did not survive today. You were refined by it. Comment RE-born, not as a habit but as a declaration that the false version has been released. Subscribe not for content, but as a commitment to the version of you that just arrived. Because from this point forward, nothing looks the same. The pressure was never against you. It was always for you. Now go build on what just got cleared. The ground has never been this solid.